we're now live on YouTube. Start streaming. We are now live on Rumble. I'm not sure if the music is loud or anything. So anyway, hello, good morning, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened through the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of our information come from the website onthisday.com and the smart device applications historical calendar and today in history. I really got to make an intro. Anyway, for links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, please check the under in the description below. And any links gathered throughout the show will, of course, appear post-live stream. Anyway, I am Xander, and who am I joined by today?
King's Refuge.
Golden Loon.
And, of course, UVRU. Today is Moon's Day, aka Monday, June 10th, 2024. So let's start off today in the far-off year of 1190. Sir King, would you care to start for us?
Alright, 1190, Third Crusade, Holy Roman Emperor Frederick I Barbarossa drowns while crossing the Salif River, modern Turkey, leading an army to Jerusalem. Ooh.
Well, yeah, don't go swimming in full armor. You know, it's not.
Yeah, right.
It's not a good idea. Like,
it never ends well.
No, I mean,
yeah, right.
Like some games that we've played, you know, you can go into like, you know, an ocean wearing entire plate armor and be just fine, but technically you should drown, you know? So, what else do we got here just 4 years later?
1194, major fire at Chartres Cathedral, France, leads to its rebuilt as the high point of the French Gothic style.
Oh. Interesting. So, Charles Cathedral in France. Let's take a quick look at that, actually. Let me open up some image.
Yeah, let's see what it looks like.
Because we kind of know about the Gothic architecture. Oh, yeah, this. So, like, you know, like the spires, conical things, like flying
anything
buttresses.
Looks better than the modern crap we build today.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at was built in 1190?
No, a fire at the cathedral led to it being rebuilt, and actually, you can see two distinctly different towers. I'm trying to get me an image. Hold on a second. Come on, open image, a new tab. There we go. So like you can see distinctly two different towers.
Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, because I remember talking about a church that, or a cathedral that caught fire and got partially damaged. So, like, I don't know which one is which, but one of these towers was rebuilt. So one of these is original and one of these is new.
But still, from 1190, that's pretty old.
Yeah, well, to us, yeah. But, like, you know, that...
Yeah.
But there's even older sections of the church.
Right.
So, let's see here, 1502...
1502, the Crimean Khan defeats the Great Horde in battle of near Warshkala, leading to the disintegration of the Great Horde.
And I'm sorry, I have to do this every time I see this word, Khan! So,
Khan!
but yeah, no, the disintegration of the Great Horde. Warskala, but where's Warskala? Like, let's look this up here. Bring up a fresh Ecosia page. Warskala. Russia. Okay. So they were all the way up in Russia. Yeah, no, like, the Khans, like, I know that Genghis Khan, I think, like, took them all the way over to, like, Italy or something. Like, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on up to 1538, Catholic German monarchy signed the League of Nuremberg in response to the formation of the Protestant Schmalkaldic League. Huh. Protestant Schmalkaldic League. What was that? Let's look that up here really quick. The Schmalkaldic League military treaty, let's see here, was a military alliance of Lutheran princes within the Holy Roman Empire. So during the Reformation, I believe. You know, the whole religious Reformation, Lutheranism, and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah. Well, you know, the church was a big deal. And this guy's armor makes it look like he has weird nipples. And strange belly. Anyway, moving on to 1539, the Council of Trent, Paul III sent out letters to his bishops delaying the council due to war and the difficulty bishops had traveling to Venice. Well, that makes sense, you know? Like, war is war, and, you know, it's difficult to do outside of war things, you know, within war, and they're trying to hold a council, so... then we also have 1540, Thomas Cromwell was arrested in Westminster. And we have actually very rare situation here where our main source actually has more meat on the article. Former Chief Minister to King Henry VIII, Thomas Cromwell, was arrested in Westminster for treason and heresy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not good. Treason.
That's a death penalty.
Treason and heresy.
Yeah, and heresy. So, not good. So let me add that to the main script here really quick. And then 1605, I think it's back to you, good sir, if you want to talk about this guy.
1605, false Dmitri I, an imposter, crowned Russian Tsar, ruled from 1605 to 16... Oh, got a year in there before he got caught.
Well, maybe a year, not sure. But still, like, you know, tricky little devil. This is interesting here.
1610, first Dutch settlers arrived from New Jersey to colonize Manhattan Island.
Now, this is something a lot of people don't realize about Manhattan and New York, formerly known as New Amsterdam. It was settled by the Dutch first.
Yes.
And it was taken by the British during wars. You know? So, New York is a European conquered land in the American colonies. And then we took it, obviously. Like, when we declared independence. So... Yeah. But yeah, no, it used to be called New Amsterdam. So, 1639. Where
16...
are we? Here we go.
39, first American log cabin at Fort Christiania, Wilmington, Delaware.
So I wonder if that's the first, American log cabin ever. You know, like, because depending on the way it works, we had a whole conversation the other day about how confusing English is. Yeah. The first American log cabin at Fort Christiana. So is this the first one ever, or, you know, and it just so happened to be, you know, in this location, or is this the first one at this location and there's even yet older ones elsewhere? You know, it doesn't explain that.
Well, the fact that it doesn't means it's the first one there. Beyond that, we have no idea.
Is it, though? Or is somebody, for whatever reason, trying to cover up earlier log cabins for some conspiracy? Yeah. I don't know. You know?
We need more. That's another one we need more context on.
Yeah. Let's see here. 1682. Actually, no, 1652. Here we go.
1652 in Boston, John Hull opens the first mint in America.
That's mint. So,
mint condition.
I like mints. They're nice.
Yeah.
Especially after dinner.
Yeah. But some mints make these like weird paper mints. You know, they don't really taste that good. You know, but they like to trade them for goods and services.
I wish they had a picture of what the coinage they were minting looks like.
1652. Hold on a second.
Yeah, that's
the wrong button. 1652 American mint products. Let's see here. Images. Okay, I get a shilling of pine tree. So here we go.
Oh, cool.
1652.
That was money.
Yeah. Very uneven.
Yeah.
So, what else do we got here? 1682, a tornado in Connecticut uprooted a 30-foot diameter oak tree. That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And we have the Salem witch trials another decade later, 1692. The first victim of the Salem witch trials, Bridget Bishop, was hanged for witchcraft in the colony of Massachusetts. Here we go.
The city of Salem still pitches the whole witchcraft thing. It's really big.
Oh, that's
Salem.
their biggest tourist,
tourist attraction.
Yeah. You know, oh yeah, come over here and look at where we wrongfully convicted and murdered innocent people, you know, out of superstition and religion beliefs. Yeah, what a great legacy to build your city on.
It works, I guess.
Whatever makes money, you know.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that make money, 1720, Mrs. Clements of England marketed the first paste-style mustard.
What?
paste style, to spread and everything.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what mustard was like before that. Maybe it came in liquid form. That sounds nasty, But like, there's the first spreadable mustard condiment. 1752, Benjamin Franklin tested the lightning conductor with his kite flying experiment, the famous key attached to a kite, thing. So, surprised it didn't kill him.
It's true.
Yeah. I guess you can say that was shocking.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And hey, despite the passage of time, it's still a current event.
Oh, bad.
What can I say? I'm all charged here. It just doesn't stop. What else do we got here? 1760. This is interesting. Good, sir?
Oh, 1760?
Yes.
1760, New York passes the first effective law regulating practice of medicine. Wow.
I mean, we do
So
need
you
some
couldn't
regulations.
You couldn't just snake oil it anymore.
Yeah. Well, they still tried, we have things in the Old West, the snake oil salesmen.
Yep.
And all that stuff. The farther away from civilization they are, the more crap they can peddle.
Turn my hair pink.
Turn my hair pink. Yep. We have a longer one here. This is actually this and this are they coincide. So go for it.
1768, British Customs officials seized John Cusack's ship, the Liberty, on the suspicion that Hancock had illegally unloaded cargo without paying duties a month earlier.
Always trying to find a way to squeeze the money out.
Yeah. 1768, riots break out in Boston after Customs officially seized sloop. What's a sloop? Sloop owned by John Hancock for alleged customs violations.
Yep. So a sloop. What is a sloop?
What is a sloop?
It's a type of boat. It's a smaller craft. Well, HMS Beagle apparently was a sloop. This is the ship that Charles Darwin used to go and do, among other places, Galapagos, and figure out, his theory of evolution and all that whatnot. So a sloop is like a smaller type of ship. But actually, let me look up the actual definition. What is a sloop? A one-masted sailing boat with a mainsail and jib rigged fore and aft. A small square-rigged sailing warship with 2 or 3 masts. And a small anti-submarine warship used for convoy escort in the Second World War. So it has various astoundingly different definitions.
It can be a submarine is what you're telling me?
No, anti-submarine
anti-submarine.
warship.
Okay.
So you don't drop the depth charges and all that stuff. Something specifically for submarine warfare on the surface.
Basically, it's a ship.
It's a type of ship. Yeah. So. Let's see here. 1770 here. British explorer Captain James Cook was the first European to discover the Great Barrier Reef off Australia, which is in extreme danger of completely being destroyed. And ironically enough, he discovered it by running aground on this coral, causing the ship to leak. The ship was later beached and repaired. So he ran on it and discovered it. That's one way.
That's one way to find it.
Yeah. And speaking of land-based events, 1786 here, a landslide dam on the Dadu River caused by earthquake 10 days prior collapsed, killing 100,000 people in the Sichuan province of China. So,
wow, that's a lot of people.
Wow,
that's a major river.
100,000 people is a lot today. Back then, it would have been a huge number. So China has always been having these problems because they're overpopulated.
Yeah.
Oh. And 1793, we have the first public zoo opened in Paris. But once again, is this the first public zoo in the world, or is this the first public zoo in Paris? Once again, it's not getting into the full description.
Where's the context?
Yeah. So look, first public zoo in the world. First public zoo in the world? London Zoo, it says here.
So this
London.
First zoo.
But Hold on, this was opened in 1828, very well after 1786.
Yeah.
So
London, Paris, same thing.
Somebody's wrong.
yeah. Well, it says here the
Somebody's
Paris
lying.
one. Actually, no, 1793 still. The Paris one is earlier. So, where was the world's first zoo? Okay, here we go. Freaking ads. Let's see
Africa?
here. Human fascinating, yada yada. Zoo for lucky few. Come on, tell me where the first public zoo is. Stop with the dang pop-ups. Okay, well, I'll just add this to the underbar section later on. Let's move on up here. 1794. French revolutionary regime began trials. So this is after the revolution, after they got rid of the bourgeois,
Yeah.
leadership and everything, and they started, trying them for their crimes against humanity, and putting them to the guillotine or to the gallows, or drawing and quartering, or whatever else, execution that you want to do.
Yeah.
Ducking was usually reserved for witches, going back to the witch trial and everything. You want to know how absurd, the witch trials were?
How?
Because you know what ducking is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dunking, yeah.
Dunking, like, like they dunk you in the water.
Yeah.
If you drowned, you're not a witch. If you didn't drown, you are.
Yeah.
How does that make any logical sense?
And then they burn you to the stake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, oh, gee, they turned out not to be a witch. Well, we just murdered an innocent person. Oh, well, let's go back to harvesting corn.
She's with God now.
Yeah. Let's see here. 1801, good sir. Oh, yeah, this works with 1805. And all three of these. Go for it.
All right. Yeah. 1801. Tripoli declares war on U.S. for refusing tribute.
That's not an intelligent
Tripoli?
move.
No.
You know what tribute is, right?
Why would we pay them tribute? Who are they?
Sounds like money.
It is. No, tribute is basically like,
Paying for something.
paying a tithe or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I demand tributes. So we had the
never
audacity
heard-
not to give Tripoli tribute, so they declare war on us.
I've never heard in Tripoli. I've never even heard of a place.
Oh, yeah, well, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli?
I've
Anyway.
never heard their name before.
Yeah.
I guess there's another one we need more context on.
Well, we have all these three are work together, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. 1805, first Barbarian War. Tripolitania agrees to peace and war with U.S. over the latter's refusal to make tribute payments. U.S. pays ransom for release of prisoners and lifts naval blockade.
Yeah.
That's something we've never heard about, really.
Yeah.
Declaring war.
Oh,
on
I
us
would
and
like
whatnot.
to know the reason and why they demanded treaty, or
Tribute.
why they demanded tribute. 1805, first Barbarian War. Yusuf Karmalia signs a treaty ending hostilities with the United States.
But that is a good
All right.
question. Like, let me look this up here. Why did Tripoli demand tribute from USA? First Barbary War summary. Okay, let's see here. It's cited by American refusal to continue payment of tribute to the piratical. That's a weird word. Rulers of the North African Barbary states of Algiers, Tunis, Morocco, and Tripoli. This practice has been customary among European nations and the nascent U.S. in exchange for immunity from attack on merchant vessels. So they were a pirate nation demanding payment to prevent us from getting pirated on.
To pay for protection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's wild.
And then they decided to declare war on us, and
we refused to pay protection.
It was Europe that started paying them, and then we became American. Or like, well, we're not Europe, buddy.
Yeah. It says, during the following years, American warships fought in the waters around Tripoli, and in 1803, when Commodore Edward Preble became commander of the Mediterranean Squadron, greater success ensued. So, we fought a legitimate war, and we haven't always been the big, badass, Mother Hubbards that we are today.
No.
So, it was more or less kind of on even ground.
But I've never heard of that war. That's what surprises me.
That's why we do this show.
Have you heard of it?
I have now.
Well, now, yes.
Yeah. But it says the combination of a strong American naval blockade and an overland expedition from Egypt finally brought the war to a close. They continued to receive some tribute until 1816. Wow. So, and then Second Battle of Tripoli Harbor. So yeah, I'm going to add this link in the underbar section for post-show publishing. This is interesting, though.
Yeah.
But what else do we got here? 1829. The first Oxford and Cambridge University boat race took place in Oxford one. That's, some people would be like, oh, why are you talking about that? It's just like, yeah, you ever... like thought about, when was the first this, when was the first that? That's why I put these in the show.
It is history.
It's random nonsensical history. So
what if they had cheerleaders?
I don't think so. No, that was back before women were allowed to flaunt their stuff, so to speak. 1838, Myall Creek Massacre in Australia. 28 Aboriginal Australians were murdered. That is awful.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yikes. And 1845, Andrew Jackson's African gray parrot Pull was removed from his funeral for swearing at the Hermitage, Tennessee funeral attendee William Menifee nominal recorded because he allegedly, well, not allegedly, it's documented, Andrew Jackson had a pet parrot. And parrots repeat things.
Yeah.
He taught it how to say swear things, how to say horrible things. And
Of
everything.
course.
Yeah. Quote, before the sermon and while the crowd was gathering, a wicked parrot that was a household pet got excited and commenced swearing so loud and long as to disturb the people and had to be carried from the house, end quote.
Based.
Yeah.
Andrew Jackson was based.
Andrew Jackson's based like a Lego base plate. So.
That's totally what I would do if I owned a parrot.
Teach a parrot how to swear, oh hell yeah.
Just unnecessary, awful things.
Oh my goodness, but back to you, good sir. 1846.
1846, Robert Thomson obtains an English patent on the rubber tyree.
That's interesting. That was well before vulcanization. Right?
Mm.
Because Charles Goodyear is the one who found it, who discovered
Vulcanizing?
Yeah.
But I don't know the years. I really don't know that much about it.
But we still had rubber tires for wagons just to soften, because it used to just be straight up wood and metal or something.
Yeah.
So you figured out some kind of rubber. It breaks down, before vulcanization.
Well,
but
rubber originally came from the rubber plant, and now it's all synthetic.
But based off of the rubber plant, they still use rubber plants.
Yeah.
They don't just magic rubber into existence. It has to come from nature. Even synthetics have a natural basis.
Of course.
So, and we have a couple, random things here if you want to take these, good sir.
1847, Chicago Tribune begins publishing. All right.
All right.
Pretty old newspaper.
Yeah.
1848, first telegraph link between New York City and Chicago. All right.
Communication.
Yes.
Now this one's really interesting. All of these are interesting. I sound like a parrot now.
Yeah. The 1854 German mathematician Bernhard Riemann proposes that space is curved.
We were just having
space is curved.
Yeah, we were just having a whole conversation with Noah. Setting up the Edge of Disclosure show that the UFOlogy, Paranormal, Science, Technology, Conspiracy show that we've been trying to work on for a while. We were talking about like wormholes and all that stuff. Like, instead of traveling from A to B, you can bend space time and pretty much instantaneously travel light years just by moving your position if you open up a wormhole. And this is the basis of all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, why is that? Like, is it because of gravity from planets?
Yeah. Yeah, gravity bends space.
Is that's why space is curved?
I don't know. That's above my pay grade, man. Like, I like
it's an interesting subject.
It is, and it's our perception is what we believe is real. So as we learn more, our
True
perception
that.
changes. It doesn't change.
Well, it's all perceived based on what we have.
Yeah, just recently the James Webb Telescope is discovering things suggesting that the age of the universe is vastly longer than what we initially thought of. You know?
Yeah.
So nothing is concrete. Like as was said, how'd the quote go in Men in Black? Like, back in the 1500s, people knew the Earth was flat. Then over here, people knew this. Now people know they're the only life on this planet. You think you know, but you don't.
That's right.
Everything. You think you know anything, you don't. Like all you know is just what we believe is true until it's not true anymore. That's it. So.
Yeah.
Yep. What do we got here in, you have another 1854.
1854, the first class of the United States Naval Academy students graduate. All right.
Yeah. 3 years later, 1857, Britain passed an act putting Canada on the decimal currency system. All right.
Huh.
Like dollars and cents?
Yeah.
So instead of just straight up...
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a decimated currency. So you have your dollars and then you have your cents.
Yeah.
And then if you talk about petrol, you have your fractions of a penny. So, but we also have 1863, Battle of Breese's Crossroads in Mississippi. 3,500 troops led by Confederate Nathan Bedford Forrest defeated a federal force of 8,000. Less than, like over twice as much. Like Zerg rushes only work, numerical advantages only work if you know how to handle that. You can't just rush in. Strategy is still a thing, Like, a force of 100 with the correct training and equipment can take out a force of 10,000. No problem,
Oh, yeah. Guerrilla warfare proves that.
Oh, yeah. 1869, Agnes arrived in New Orleans with the first ever shipment of frozen beef. Frozen beef.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everybody
Can you
loves
imagine,
beef.
living in a time where, everything had to be fresh? Like, if you didn't buy that beef cut, in the past hour, then you're not having beef today. There was
and you wake up and you find out, what? No, they can freeze it now?
Huh.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Wow.
That's genius!
Wow, yeah. So many things that we take for granted today.
So many things.
And
Like,
they used to buy a lot of bad beef because it already spoiled.
Right?
yeah, and then that created...
Imagine going, you gotta go home and wash your meat before you cook it.
Yeah.
Make sure you wash it.
Talk about getting a bad beef over bad beef, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get into the meat of that. What do we got here in 1882? Anti-colonization mass society of Alexandria, Egypt killed 50 Europeans. That's a race crime right there. So,
Yeah, not cool.
yeah. But then again, what are we doing over there? As white people,
Yeah.
so. 1886, the eruption of Tarara volcano destroyed famous pink and white calcium carbonate hot spring terraces in North Island, New Zealand. That's unfortunate. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me see if there's an image of that, because that's really old. There probably might be a photograph of that here. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, that would have been so beautiful to look at. Hold on a second. Open image in new tab. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Terraced hot springs.
Huh.
They're steaming, and they're like baths and everything.
In New Zealand.
Yeah. North Island in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like how does that form? Like, amazing what nature can create and take away.
Right.
Well, it's coming up from somewhere down deep.
Yeah, well,
So it heats up.
well, I mean, a volcano destroyed it, so obviously the same source of energy that created this destroyed it.
Right.
So, once again, everything you take for granted, today might not be around tomorrow. Enjoy what you have today, because, as the song goes, you don't know what you got till it's gone. They pay paradise and put up a parking lot. So, 1898. I've spoken about this a couple of times. Go for it, good sir.
1898, U.S. Marines land in Cuba during the Spanish-American War.
Yeah.
Yep. That was another war started by a false flag. That's how we took Puerto Rico. And how Cuba became independent was we took it from Spain. Let's see here. Now we're the turn of the century. You want to take it?
All right, 1900 in China, a relief column of some 2,000 men set out from Tientsin to relieve foreigners trapped in Peking.
This has to be the Boxer Rebellion. Either the Boxer Rebellion or the Opium Wars. One of those two. I don't remember exactly. But that's around that time. I think the Boxer Rebellion actually was earlier. So this has to be the Opium Wars. 1902? I gotta look it up. What is a window envelope?
1902, patent for window envelope granted to H.F. Callahan.
Yes, what is that?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh! I thought it was like a structure in like a window. I didn't know it was a windowed envelope.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like we still use these today. The little plastic piece where it shows the address. Yeah. So the window envelope has been around for 122 years.
Not bad.
Pretty good. Interesting stuff. You know, like as I said at the top of the show, answer questions you may not know you have.
Yeah.
Like how long? You know, like when did this happen? You know, well now you do. Now you know. Moving on up to 1905, we have the first forest fire lookout tower placed in operation at Greenville, Maine.
Oh.
Yeah, so like those towers just out, looking in
up
the forest.
On peaks, yes.
Yeah.
So spot fires when they happen.
You know what? 1905, first fire lookout tower. I want to just see if there's any picture. Yeah, like look how antiquated. It's just a box in the sky. Oh no, nope. I don't want that. I want this. Open image in new tab. Here we go. That's it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And they had to put a flag on it.
Of course.
Yeah.
I like things like that. Really cool stuff.
I do too.
Oh, let me get rid of these. Let's see here. 1907, France and Japan signed an agreement to maintain the independence and integrity of China, equality for all nations in trading with China, and the status quo in the Far East. So as far back as 1907, France was sticking around, in Asia and everything. That's around the same time.
Sounds like they were pushing Japan to recognize China's independence. That's what it sounds
like. They
were
to me. Because up until recently, because this is around, I think this is shortly after the Meiji Reformation, where they were getting rid of the caste system, the samurais, the lords, and all that stuff, and getting into more, because Japan was very traditionalist. They were very isolationist. They believed that they were the superior being on this earth, but the rest of the world was working together and advancing, and Japan knew if they couldn't figure out how to play with everybody else, they would get conquered, because they were not working with the rest of the world as a whole. They were being left to their own devices and being passed out, and passed up technologically.
Yeah.
And they were going to be left behind. So they had to play.
This ties into, well, obviously this is before World War One.
Yeah.
If this ties into anything, the fighting went on between China and Japan.
Well, Japan
was kind of a foundation.
Well, because Japan is Japan, and they as a people are very efficient and very intelligent. They know how to do wonders with the tools that they've gotten.
Yeah.
They quickly became the biggest boy on the block, and culturally, all Asian countries hate each other. Well, every country hates each other, culturally, but Asians these days are still in that, 18th century mindset, and that's why Japan did to China what they did back then, and that's why China's doing what they're doing today. They, as soon as one has the upper hand, they go for the throat. So
I guess my question was going to be, we know what China and Japan did during World War II. Yeah. Were they battling in enemies in World War One? I don't know. I don't know if they had any conflict or not.
I think Japan was part of the Allied powers in World War One.
That's a good question too. I don't know.
Japan's involvement in World War One. Let's see here. Japan during World War One. They did participate as a member of the Allies and played an important role against the Imperial German Navy. Politically, the Japanese Empire seized the opportunity to expand its sphere of influence in China and to gain recognition as a great power in post-war geopolitics.
So they were involved with China.
Yes.
Okay.
But a point I was making is this also goes into, because, once again, this is France and Japan.
Yeah.
France, at the time, was also doing things... doing things in Indochina, which we know today as Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, all that stuff. Like, those countries, I believe, actually were formed from France's involvement.
Well, France wasn't Vietnam. We took over,
Well, I think France created Vietnam.
They could have.
So, but, I don't know every iota of history. Yeah.
France was very involved in that whole region for many years.
Yes. Well, so was the United Kingdom. I mean, they owned Hong Kong until, they gave it up. Well, the lease ran out in the 90s, and then they officially turned it over, 2019 or whatever, and then everything just went to complete and total crap. So, yeah.
Well, they turned it over before that.
Well, yeah, but I don't know the exact semantics. Anyway, let's get back on to the articles here. 1908, we have the first flying club, Aeronautical Society of New York, opened.
Ah.
The first flying club. Just right when, when were the Wright brothers? 1911, right?
I believe so.
Let's look. When did the Wright flyer take off? Let's see here. 1903.
Yeah, so
okay.
It had to be before that, yeah.
Yeah, so 5 years later, the first flying club, but that's still pretty interesting. And the history of aviation, once again, history bombs. Let me bring this up here really quick here. History bombs, aviation. I want to watch this after the show, but I'm going to post this in the underbar. It's really interesting because aviation, as we know it, started from post-World War I pilots wanting to continue flying, and then they on their own accord dug out their own or carved out their own airstrips and all that stuff, and they continued flying on their own, and then that's how the aviation industry was born, from war. So let me add this in the underbar here. So. But yeah, I recommend people after this show, of course, watch this History Bomb, watch all their shows, videos. They have really good stuff here. What else do we got here? 1908, the Australian Parliament passed the Invalid and Old Age Pensions Act, providing for pensions for British subjects, excluding Aborigines, of course.
Of course.
At age 65. Man. Crikey. Oh, that's...
Are you kidding me?
What a kick in the teeth. Hey, I'm going to take your land and not give you any rights. I mean, that's kind of how things go.
Well, you don't get pensions.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's awful. So, I don't know what this is, so I'm going to get rid of that. 1916, if you want to take it, good sir. Is this even in here?
1916, Great Arab Revolt begins against ruling autonomous Turks.
Yeah. It says here, actually, the main source has more meat for somehow magically again.
All right.
It says here, 1916, Hashemite-led Arabs of the Hejaz rose up against the ruling Ottoman Empire in the Great Arab Revolt of World War I. So yeah, that's interesting that they have more information. That's unusual. But what else do we got here? 1917. That's a lot of people.
1917, 60,000 people from Petrograd, Russia, welcome Prince Kropotkin, banned for 41 years, returning after February Russian Revolution. What's banned 41 years? What was? What's that?
Well, he was banned. Let's see here. Prince. Why was banned? He was. What's the word when you exiled?
Excommunicated. Exiled.
Exiled.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, Russian anarchist Prince. So he was an anarchist. That's why he was against. So he was politically exiled essentially, but he was brought back after the February Russian Revolution, which was the start of the Soviet Union.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Soviet Union was started during the First World War by Vladimir Lenin to overthrow the Tsar and, promise this, that, and the other, food and bread for the people and all that stuff, and get Russia out of the First World War. The Soviet Union was an anti-war movement, and then it became a pro-war movement. So, but yeah. So, 1924 here. This is interesting. Huh.
1924, first political convention broadcast on Radio Republicans at Cleveland.
All right. So utilizing entertainment means to broadcast.
The radio broadcast.
Yeah. It is the first time a political convention.
Yeah.
So the DNC or whatever, yeah.
And not everyone had a radio in there. That was a luxury,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays.
In the early 20s, the average hourly income, 16 cents.
Wow.
16 cents an hour.
Wow, you can't even buy
Back
a
in the
gumbo
early
for
20s,
that.
yeah.
Oh. Yep. You got a third one here if you'd like. 1925.
1925, inaugural service for the United Church of Canada, a union of Presbyterian, Methodist, and Congregationalist churches held in Toronto Arena.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Different theologies working together.
Yeah.
Because in their basis, in their core, they're all the same. They just have different semantics about, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But once again, another tool of divisiveness.
Mm-hmm.
As old as time, religion. The year 1931, Norway occupied East Greenland. That's interesting.
Oh.
That's not during any war that I know of, but there's always a war happening somewhere. That's interesting. Norway occupied East Greenland. I'm going to look that up here really quick. Why did that happen? Let's see. Eric the Red's land. Huh. Eric the Red's land was the name given by Norwegians to an area on the coast of eastern Greenland occupied by Norway in the early 1930s. That explains why, or that explains what it was. So here's the actual area.
Yeah, they didn't necessarily conquer it. They may have just established there originally.
Well, it says here, origin of the claim, the first European settlement of Greenland was established by Norse colonists from Iceland around the year 1000. There were two main Norse settlements on Greenland, but both were in the southwestern coast of the island, far away from the area that later became Eric the Red's land. From the 1260s, the Norse colony of Greenland recognized the King of Norway as its overlord. When Norway, a part of Denmark, from 1537 until 1814, official documents made it clear that Greenland was part of Norway. However, contact with the settlements there was lost in the late Middle Ages, and the Norse population died out possibly around 1500. So, it was just reclaimed, essentially.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. What do we got here in 1932? The first demonstration of artificial lighting in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Ooh.
Is that the light bulb, you mean?
Yeah, the first demonstration of artificial lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I thought artificial lighting came way before
this. Yeah, 1932 seems a bit late. Are they talking maybe like the longer bulbs? I don't know.
Let me look up this article really quick here. What happened this is just on this day. Mysteries from the morgue. Huh, okay. Well, this is going to require some digging, which we don't have on the show. So if anybody has the time, to let us know in the comments section, that'd be great. What the semantics are.
Artificial lighting, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, 1933. These are some famous names: Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker. Bonnie and Clyde flipped their car into a ravine. Parker suffered serious third-degree burns from the accident, which would affect her for the rest of her life. Wah, wah, wah. Well, then again, some people would say these people were kind of Robin Hoods.
Oh, it's artificial lightning.
Lightning?
Oh.
Let me see. Artificial lightning. You're right. Okay, I'm stupid. So, yeah. Okay. Lightning. So Tesla coils, essentially.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which, that's around the same time. That's Nikola Tesla's time, 1932. So I wonder if he had involved in this. Must have. So, thank you for reading what I clearly could not.
No problem.
Obviously, these don't work. So, 1933. You want to take this one? This is a pretty big name in history here. Yeah.
1933. Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker. Oh wait, I did that. You did that.
Yeah.
1933. John Dillinger robs his first bank in New Carolina, Ohio. He takes $10,600.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money back then.
There is a calculator. $10,600.
That would be $100,000.
Let's use a money calculator here. It would have the purchasing power of about $255,662.22 today.
Oh.
Yep. Damn inflation.
Thanks.
Damn inflation.
Yeah, that's bumped up a few notches in the last, what do you say, 4 years? Well.
Well, in the past 4 years, well, I don't even know the number, but I do know from 2020 to 2021 or 2022, more money was printed within those 2 years than the rest of the entire United States history combined. In 2 years.
Yep.
You seen the Home Alone meme where Kevin goes out to buy groceries?
Oh yeah, like he just pops a 20 or something like that.
Yeah, he just gives him that would cost what he paid was like $20 for would cost around $80.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah,
Something
at least.
like that.
Ridiculous. So. 1934, USSR and Romania reestablished diplomatic relations. Okay, whatever. I'm actually going to take that out because that's whatever. Why is that even in here? So, but what do we got here? Oh, this is pretty interesting here. Well, once again, it sounds like a damn parrot. Yeah. You want to take this, good sir? I think it's still your turn.
1935 in Akron, Ohio, Dr. Robert H. Smith, Dr. Bob, and Akron and Bill Wilson from New York form Alcoholics Anonymous. Date of Smith's last drink. Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Contributing
Let me
to
give
society.
him a cheer.
Yeah. Applause. Thank you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, AA has become an incredibly zealots kind of type of organization, but yeah, and let's not confuse this Dr. Bob with the files of Dr. Bob, the SCP guy. You know, he's more of a recent creation. In 1940, huh?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
1940, Canada declares war on Italy. Wow. I can't imagine Canada harming anybody.
Actually,
that's right. We're at World War II.
Yes, this is World War II.
It was raging.
Yeah.
We consider it 1941 when we got in, but that's way late.
That's not way late because the war ended in 45. It started in 39. We actually came in near
38.
No, September 1st, 1939 is when Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. We always only recognize one. The Soviets and the Nazis worked together and invaded Poland the same day, and they came in from two sides and crushed Poland. You know, it wasn't just the Germans; it was both of them. You know, and then that's why eventually Operation Barbarossa happened, because eventually either Stalin or Hitler would go after the Baltic states. That's why Hitler pulled the trigger first, because he wanted those.
Yeah.
Both nations had aspirations that pretty much were one on top of the other. It was just who would take the first bite. You know, and they worked in tandem for the first one with Poland, but then Barbarossa happened, and we all know how that went. You know, you'd think for being a veteran of the First World War, the last thing Hitler would want to do is open up a second front, but that's what he did.
That's what he did.
Stupid. So, but speaking of war and everything, why don't you take the other two 1940s here, good sir?
1940, Italy declares war on France and Great Britain as part of its Axis alliance with Nazi Germany.
Yep.
Ooh. Here in 1940, Norway surrenders to Nazi Germany after 62 days of fighting.
That's a lot.
2 months.
Yes.
Yeah, slightly over.
Not very long to be conquered.
Well, they went down kicking. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of all this, in 1942, Nazis killed all inhabitants of Lidice, Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia, which is now the Czech Republic, which had been implicated in the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, Nazi controller of Bohemia and Moravia, to, quote, teach the Czechs a final lesson of subservience and humility, end quote. Over 170 adult men were executed by firing squad on site. Women and children were sent to concentration camp gas chambers, and the village was burned down and plowed under. They just eliminated. They killed everybody and destroyed the town, eradicated, scorched earth, gone. Wow.
Jeez.
Yikes, dude. And that's what we were fighting.
Yep.
That's what we were fighting and dying for in the 1940s and everything. And look at the world today. It might as well not even have ever happened. It's disgusting. Disgusting. So, anyway. And then 1943, FDR became the first U.S. president to visit a foreign country during wartime. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And going back to evil here in 1943 as well, Heinrich Himmler ordered the final liquidation of Lodz ghetto in occupied Poland. Ugh, I hate that word, liquidation. Ugh. This is awful. You know, like, I can't think of a more visceral word to express the disgusting nature of the action of what these people did. You know, like liquidation.
Yeah.
You're just eliminating people. Like, oh, God. Anyway, oh man, we just have more stuff. Like 1944, Nazi forces carry out a massacre of 642 civilians in the French village of Oradour-sur-Glane. Yikes. And then I think this is this is a better article here, 44 as well. Relief pitcher Joe Nuxhall, at 15 years, 316 days, debuted for the Cincinnati Reds. The youngest player in Major League Baseball history, became an all-star and broadcaster. Wow.
I thought they suspended baseball during the war.
Yeah, me too.
No, we just saw a league of their own. They had women come in and play.
Well, that's what, because Major League Baseball was suspended, and the women's league took over.
But
yeah, it wasn't called the MLB though.
No. They tried to maintain it after the war, but there was no interest when the men came back.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like as I said, like KR and I here, we saw the movie A League of Their Own yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the first time I've seen it.
Great movie.
There's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball.
No crying in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that you guys make up good points here. There was no MLB back then, so why are we calling it this? And it was on suspension. So what the hell is this article?
I don't know.
This is going to require some digging that we don't have time for on the show. But once again, if anybody wants to go down that rabbit hole, leave a comment section. You know, please do. Like, educate us as we're educating you. Like, we're working together. You know. But then one more 44 during the Second World War. Yeah, that all rhymes, huh? I'm a poet and I don't know it. In Distomo, Boeotia Prefecture, Greece, 218 men, women, and children were massacred by German troops. Yikes. And it wasn't just the men, it was the women and the children. I killed them all. I'm quoting Anakin here. When he went on his rampage against the Sand People for killing his mom.
Yeah.
So, younglings.
Yep. 1946. Do you want to talk to us about these, good sir? We have two of them.
1946, Italian Republic established.
Yep, after World War II, you know, they got reformed into a republic.
Yep.
Let's not forget, Mussolini invented fascism. Germany, doing what Germany does best, perfects it. So,
yeah. Next up here is 1946. Rear Admiral Sidney W. Sowers, USNR, ends term as first director of CIA. Lieutenant General Hoyt S. Vandenberg, USA, becomes the second director of the CIA.
Now, for most cases, I would not put that in there, just because who cares about, you know, when these people became directors or what. But I put this in here for a reason. 1946. the first director of the CIA retires. So the CIA is new, the Central Intelligence Agency. Yet another relatively new government branch that we can really do much well off without. You know, just like the Federal Reserve,
it's supposed to be
just like
temporary,
the IRS.
right?
You know, it hasn't been around since the very beginning, folks. Like, it's new stuff. Afuela!
Layla.
Yes.
Hey, taxes weren't even around in the beginning.
Yeah, well, actually they were. Like, immediately right after the revolution, they put in taxes to pay for the war effort. Money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, usually come from charging, what's it called when you charge for imports and
Tariffs.
Tariffs, yeah.
Yeah.
That's where most of the federal money came from, was tariffs.
Yeah. But I mean, taxes have always been a thing since the very beginning of any government. It has to have some kind of economy.
Taxation without representation.
Well, that's how we were founded on.
Yeah.
But that's taxation without representation.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'm just talking about taxation that's been around forever.
Well, there is also taxation with representation and all that
course.
stuff. But no, like that's how governments give money. You know, through taxes, through tithes. You know, through this, through that. So taxes have always been around, but the IRS, the Federal Reserve, you know, all of that stuff, that's only been around since like 1913.
Oh no!
You know, so thanks to Woodrow Wilson, that piece of shit. Anyway,
Fuck him.
Yeah. What do we got here in 1947?
Mm-hmm. 1947, Saab produces its first automobile.
Ah, Saab. We all know about Saab. They're a sports car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
a European car, not necessarily a sports car.
Yeah. Now, 1950 is an eyebrow raiser.
Germany doesn't annex Oder Nisegrin.
So they do not annex it. Why? It's not very often. This is the first time, to my knowledge, we've ever covered an article where they're not annexing. What? So
what didn't they annex?
Oder Nissegrins. So what is this? Nemo's Order Nissi, the border Germany refused to accept for 45 years. After World War II, the Allied powers ceded the German lands east of the Order. So they were given it and they said no. What the hell? It were the Soviets who insisted on the change. So this is a whole article. I would strongly advise reading this. Yeah, this is interesting here. They do not. Yeah, this is a whole thing to read, and like I would really love to read the whole thing, but not on air. So I'm gonna go ahead and like strongly recommend people check out the underbar. The description below, post show, where this link is going to be inputted after the stream here. They did not annex it. That is weird. So, anyway, 1952, U.S. President Harry Truman expressed a desire to nationalize the steel industry. Yikes! I don't like.
That would have been horrible.
Yeah, once you take something out of the private sector. Here we go. You know, like, what is it you like to say about a certain animal with their nose in a you know?
Under the tent? Yeah.
Yeah. You come closer. 1955, we have the first separation of virus into component parts reported.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's really, really big right there. So, you know, separating a virus into what makes it up, what the chemical complex is, why does it do what it does, and how do, like, the reactions on a molecular level create this outcome to what ratios and you know, stuff like that.
That's the first step towards altering viruses to make them lethal.
Yeah.
Oh, anybody can say COVID?
Damn.
I think you just got us canceled. Everybody was kung flu fighting. Anyway, 1962, a one-day record, 54 home runs hit in baseball. Whoa.
Oh boy.
Someone was really good and someone was really bad in tandem. Can you imagine 54 home runs in one game?
Well, no, same day.
No, it's
there
combined.
Could have been 10 games.
Oh.
10 or 20 games. You know how many games there were that day.
Oh, okay. So you think it's
I
a conglomerate of games? But how many games
I watch
still?
baseball, so
I don't know how
well,
many
I
games
know.
they
3
had
games?
that day. Huh?
Like 3 games, 4? There can't be that much.
Well, it depends on how many teams are in the league. They played pretty much every day.
True.
So if there's 18 teams, then there's 9 games.
You know what? Now I'm curious. I want to look this up here. Let's see. Major League Baseball. Here we go. Okay, well, oh, these are all the people who hit the home runs. So, actually, no, these are a lot more people. What the hell is all this? Why do I have 200 people? What is this? Okay, so this is just the home run league leaders.
Yeah.
But it's not telling me that specific day.
Let's look at how many teams played on that day.
How many MLB teams played on June 10th, 1962? MLB scores saying June 10th. Here we go. Okay, so we have 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 18. So
20 games, say.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, 20 games. Okay.
So there was.
So 20 games.
2.5 home runs per game.
Okay, so that's not bad.
2.5.
That's a bunch on average. That's a bunch, but
that's a lot.
Yeah.
I think I'm no baseball fan, so what I know.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, hell, I often confuse a cycle with a line. You know. What do we got here in 1963?
1963 U.S. Equal Pay Act signed into law by President John F. Kennedy. All right.
My alarm bells are screaming. Equal pay
for equal work.
Yeah. We woo. That sounds like communism to me. So.
Well, it is a fact that back in the day, women were paid less than men for the exact same job. That had to be fixed. No question.
All right. Well, let's see here.
So it's like, where does that evolve to? What does government do? They just don't settle for that. They keep going. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that, but it's just the wording. The Equal Pay Act, that just screams, watch out to me.
That's today.
Like the Patriot Act.
Today from 1963. You can't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, right here, the Equal Pay Act, no employer having employees subject to any provisions of this section shall discriminate within any establishment in which such employees are employed between employees on the basis of sex by paying wages to employees and such as lawyer gobbledygook. But basically, what you just said, Loon.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the glass ceiling, which I 100% agree with.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Jackasses don't agree with it. That's who doesn't, to answer your question.
But in 63, it was done all the time.
Oh,
It was very common.
Yeah. So, all right. What else do we got here? 1964.
1964, Southern filibusters on Civil Rights Bill ends. Cloture invoked.
Cloture. What is a cloture? Never heard of that.
Cloture, yeah. Cloture.
Definition. In legislative assembly, a procedure for ending a debate and taking a vote. Closure. So
it's actually cloture, not closure. Cloture.
Yeah, well, there's a T in it, so cloture.
Yeah.
It's literally
they're ending debate. Okay, we got to vote.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
English language.
Stupid filibusters too, though. I don't like filibusters. Oh, here we go. You got a good one. What is the Queen of Soul, or what's her nickname? Janis Joplin?
Janis Joplin,
yeah.
Queen of Rock and
19...
Roll.
Okay.
Yeah. 1966, Janis Joplin plays her first gig with Big Brother and the Holding Company at Avalon Ballroom in San Francisco, California.
Yeah, that's
cool.
when she first
See,
started.
good things do happen in California.
Yeah. They used to, at least. So.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of California, all that stuff, something I didn't really realize, but I saw a meme yesterday. It was like, I don't remember exactly, but it was like within 10 years or 15 years after Mexico lost California, that the Californian gold rush happened.
Oh.
Can you imagine how pissed Mexico must have been? Oh, God damn. Just like, this is the same exact thing when after Russia sold us Alaska.
Alaska, yeah.
And then now they're trying to claim that was invalid.
Yeah, we want it back. Good luck with that.
Yeah, have fun. Oh. But speaking of music and everything, we got another one in 66. Same year, actually, 66. So.
1966, the Beatles released single Paperback Writer / Rain in the UK. Rain featured experimental studio tricks of slowed down bass and drum tracks and full backwards vocals in the fade out.
So I wonder if this is where like the whole thing of playing a thing backwards to hear subliminal messages from Satan came from. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
thanks, Beatles.
They claimed one of those Beatles played backwards. I can't forget which Beatle they were claiming. Let's just say Lennon is dead or something.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Now, like, what I really love is that scene from Little Nicky, where like he took what was it, the Breakfast Club, like, right, the soundtrack of the Breakfast Club, and he played it backwards, like, "Hail Satan, Prince of Darkness, bow before the evil." It's like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
it was great.
Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club. Anyway, moving on up to 1967, 15,000 people attended Fantasy Fair and Magic Mountain Music Festival in California. Were you there?
No.
That's surprising. You were a hippie! Like, legitimately, this guy was true blue, long-haired, peace man, stereotypical hippie. And and on top of that, he was a surfer dude hippie. Like, he was like the stereotype. Like, we all
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's because of all the drugs. You've forgotten.
He forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're putting stuff on the air that just isn't true.
Oh.
Also,
plausible deniability.
I plead the fifth.
I was drunk when I said it.
1967 as well, though, Argentina became a member of the Berne Convention Copyright Treaty. The Berne is really interesting. International copyright, stuff, which is not, strong enough in my opinion. After what happened with a certain video game private server that I'm no longer a part of. Yeah. They, I never thought I'd ever side with Blizzard, but I really hope that they go after Ascension. With the Wrath of Thor. That needs to be taken down. Anyway, 1967 as well, Israel, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, and Egypt ended the 6-day war with the UN help.
Yeah.
So, and at that same time, obviously related, the USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, more commonly known as the Soviet Union, dropped diplomatic relations with Israel, probably because they were going into peacetime or whatever. Because I don't know.
Well, they took a side.
Yeah. No.
He didn't take Israel's side, obviously.
Yeah. Let's move on up to 1972. Moving on up. Here we go. Mr. King, do you want to take this one?
To 1962? Or
1972. We're talking
72.
about the Candyman Can.
All right. Sammy Davis Jr.'s cover, The Candyman Can, by Anthony Newley and Leslie Burkus from the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Goes to #1 on the charts. It's his biggest single.
Who can make the sun
Oh,
rise?
Sammy Davis was so talented as an actor, a singer. That guy could do anything.
Oh yeah, great.
I keep confusing Sammy Davis Jr. with somebody else. Every time I see that name, I think he was a baseball player.
No.
But who's the baseball player who has a name, blah, 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 Jr.? Like... Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, that's true.
I keep getting the names confused,
He was part of the Rat Pack in Vegas.
Sammy Davis?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So they were multicultural. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that, back in the day, he couldn't
Howling around with
he could
Sinatra
play
all
in
the
Vegas.
time.
He couldn't sleep in Vegas. He had to go out to a colored motel.
That's awful.
Yeah. Oh, awful. You're not kidding. It's awful.
And nowadays they're segregating themselves from us. And it's like, what the hell? Anyway, what else do we got? 1974. Now we're talking about baseball.
Yeah, 1974, Philadelphia Phillies slugger Mike Schmidt hits a ball off public address speakers hanging from Houston Astrodome roof.
Oh, way up there.
Yes. So he had a speaker, like a music speaker, or whatever, that was hanging off the roof. He hit it. That is crazy.
I wonder what they ruled that. A foul ball or what? What do they rule that? Anyways, he's third baseman of the Phillies. Yeah.
I don't know, but I can't wait to hear about it.
Oh man.
I'm wired today.
See, it would have been more interesting if they had told us what the ruling was.
You know
that's
what?
beside the point.
Well, I can look it up really quick. Let's see here. Astrodome roof. Mike Schmidt's feet at the Astrodome. Oh, well, this is a video. You know what? It's 28 seconds long, so let's play it. Okay, this is just... Oh, they're not even going to talk. It just text me. I hate it when people make videos and don't narrate. Like, it's a video, not a book. Come on. Anyway, if anybody can answer that question from the loon, please do so. Moving on up, 1975. Whoa.
1975, Rockefeller panel reports on 300,000 illegals CIA files on Americans.
Yeah, so Big Brother has been watching since well before 1984. The Patriot Act, all this stuff, documenting. They've been doing it since before you guys were born. This has been an endemic issue, and why we need a total and complete restart. You can't fix what was designed to be broken. So, yep. Another 75 here.
Oh, yeah, 1975, Yanks sponsor Army Day at temporary home. Shia Stadium during the 21-gun salute. Part of fence is blown away, and another part is set fire.
Are you kidding me?
Celebration.
How
does that happen?
How do you not line in your sights? How do you accidentally blow up a fence during a non-combat operation in a civilian area?
In a 21
We're Americans.
What
That's
is
how we
wrong
celebrate
with you?
by blowing shit up.
They shot blanks. Why would you have live
Well, that only happens when you get older.
Oh.
But that is the part of the fence is blown away. Okay, why are you aiming at the fence? What are you doing?
Why are they shooting live ammo is what I want to know.
Well, you don't even have to shoot live ammo. Even with blanks,
that's true.
There's still the concussion.
True.
It's still shooting air.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Because especially in a civilian area, if you're firing live ammo, you don't know where it's coming down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, this is interesting here to anybody who enjoys golf. 1977, U.S. golfer Al Geiberger became the first player in history to post a sub-60 score at 59 or negative 13 below par, I believe, in a PGA Tour sanctioned event during the second round Danny Thomas Memphis Classic at Colonial CC Country Club in Cordova, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
Par isn't an absolute number. It changes with every course.
Well, yes. Par is what is the average, of swings to get the ball from the tee to the hole.
Yeah.
And you judge yourself based off of the averages.
It's not even an average. It's the goal.
The goal based on what? Is it arbitrary, or is there math behind it?
Someone decided it's going to take 3 strokes to get there. For a good golfer to get there and in the hole in 3 strokes.
Huh.
If you don't, it's a bogey or an eagle. If you do, and so
it's
forth.
-1, -2, or whatever. Anyway, 1977 as well, Apple Computer shipped its first Apple II computers. That was revolutionary back when Apple actually was innovative.
Oh, they came up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. 1977, International Labour Organization and United Nations met to discuss apartheid in South Africa and potential actions to prevent further violence and state repression. Yeah, apartheid, disgusting thing.
Yep.
It's 1977 as well. James Earl Ray, Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassin, escaped from prison.
Oh wow! I didn't know he escaped.
Yeah. I think they recollected him though, but
yeah, I'm sure they did.
But yeah, no, he escaped. He got out of there.
I had no idea.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
No idea.
Well, that's why we do the show. So.
Wow. The more you know.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Another one of these. Go for it, good sir.
1978, Costa Rica becomes a member of the Berne Convention Copyright Treaty.
All right. And you know what? Let's look it up. You know,
what's the Berne Convention?
Berne Convention.
Copyright Treaty.
Yeah, the Berne Convention. Let's see here. The Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works, usually known as the Berne Convention, was an international assembly held in 1886 in the Swiss city of Bern by 10 European countries with the goal of agreeing on a set of legal principles for the protection of original work. They drafted and adopted a multi-party contract containing agreements for a uniform border crossing system that became known under the same name. Its rules have been updated many times since then. The treaty provides authors, musicians, poets, painters, and other creators with the means of control how their works are used, by whom, and on what terms. In some jurisdictions, these types of rights are referred to as copyright. On the European continent, they are generally referred to as author's rights, or maker right, from Germany. So, as of November 2022, the Berne Convention has been ratified by 181 states out of 195 countries in the world, most of which are parties to the Paris Act of 1971. So this is something that's been around since December 5th, 1887, and is still going today. Granted, differently, and throughout the times, it changes, but still, it's still alive. That's really cool. Yeah. And it started in Bern, Switzerland, and now we have freaking Costa Rica involved. This is awesome,
But how do they tie it to the, was that the Paris Accord?
Oh, well, yeah, the Paris Accord in
70-something.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're tying it to that.
Well, there's a lot of Paris Accords. There's like several hundred Paris Accords, Paris treaties, all sorts of things, so. But 1982, the American TV sitcom Taxi last aired on ABC. I think actually this was your article. Sorry, my bad. Good sir, go for it.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Keep going.
Aired on ABC, canceled after 4 seasons and 15 Emmy Award wins. Moved to NBC in the fall, airing for 1 season and won 3 more Emmys. So this wasn't the actual end, but the end as far as on ABC.
Yeah.
So the American Broadcasting Company to the National Broadcasting Company. Okay. But yeah, Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Yep. That's where we got our American treasure
And
from,
Doc.
man. Danny DeVito.
Doc was on that too.
Doc Brown.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember his name?
I just remember Doc Brown.
It's always Doc Brown.
Yeah. Well, like his Doc Brown's. I can't. Yeah, who?
Emmett.
Who played Doc Brown? Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd.
Lloyd.
His nephew played Ted in Scrubs. I know you've never seen the show,
No.
but King, have you ever seen Scrubs? Yeah, the bald
Yeah.
lawyer guy. That was the nephew of Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, wow.
And he unfortunately has since passed. Christopher Lloyd's still around, but this guy is. Ted died, unfortunately.
Aww.
Yeah, that's sad. But anyway, let's see here. Let's give it back to your turn. 1982 battle.
1982 Battle of Sultan Yaqub. Israel raid into Syria result in 30 deaths and capture of Israel takes.
Oh, well, that didn't work out too well. Let me play my sad horn. Israel invaded and they lost. Ha, 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 ha. Oh. But just 2 years later is really an eyebrow raiser here.
Yeah, 1984 U.S. missile shoots down an incoming missile in space for the first time.
Interception. The Star Wars are here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why this record is here. I don't really care, so I'm going to erase it. So let's just move on up to the evil soda company.
1985, Coca-Cola announces they're bringing back their 99-year-old formula.
Yeah.
New Coke bombed.
Well, it was obviously a marketing ploy.
It was on purpose.
Yeah.
It was on purpose.
And see, what's interesting, they promised that they're bringing back their 99-year-old formula. What was in their 99-year-old formula? Cocaine! What's in Coca-Cola today? Cocaine! Why can they get away with it? Because they lobby. Because, they just pay off. Like, but no, if you drink Coca-Cola, you're drinking cocaine, legitimately, you know? And you can say that's illegal all you want. It doesn't stop them. So, anyway, 1986, I wonder why that's in there.
1986 in South Africa, the 3-year-old state of emergency is renewed for another 12 months, followed by an organized campaign of civil disobedience against it.
This is obviously apartheid. So, this is when apartheid was near the end. Like, because apartheid was repealed in what, like, 92?
I have no idea.
And Nelson Mandela became president in 94.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. Moving on up to 1988, the greatest number of participants on a bicycle tour in London, clocking up at 31,678 people. Wow. Huh.
It's a lot of bikes.
And you thought cyclists on your daily commute, to work were bad. Imagine being behind 31,678 people on their bikes. Holy.
We have what calls Ragbride or whatever down here every year, and it's like they all clutter the whole freaking road, and it's awful.
Yeah. 1989, Tales from the Crypt, a TV anthology series, debuted on HBO. That was a cool series.
Nice. That was a good series, yeah.
The Crypt Keeper! Can't do it.
He always had the best, corniest jokes.
Yeah. Better than mine? I kind of feel offended. Or actually worse than mine? Like, depending on better or worse, how you view. Is like betterly worse or worsely better? I don't know. I want to be known as a horrible joke teller. 1990, this is an odd thing to document. But for whatever reason, it's written in the annals of history, and on this date in 1990 is when Burger King started using Newman's own salad dressing. Okay.
Oh, that's good to know.
Okay, that's an interesting thing to document. Yeah. All right.
Don't go to... They let their mayonnaise sit out.
Yuck.
Don't go to Burger. Don't go there.
Yeah. 1990 as well, the rap group 2 Live crew members were arrested in Florida for obscenity. That's not surprising. Oh, yeah.
You said bad words, so we have to take away your speech. Fast forward.
Yeah. 1991, the mother of all parades, New York City welcomed Desert Storm troops home. Yeah. Oh. And then 96 here. You want to take it? This
yes, 1996 variety show, The Rosie O'Donnell Show, hosted by Rosie O'Donnell, premieres.
Just whoever's in charge of her, make sure she does not take Ambien. Oh, and go on a tirade on Twitter.
She used to be funny.
Yeah.
And something happened to her. I don't know what.
She's still around. I think isn't she doing another show recently, or am I thinking about somebody else?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
She's still alive.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what she's doing.
Well,
since she lost her show.
Well, speaking of people being alive, and thankfully this guy is no longer alive. 97.
97. Khmer Rouge leader Pol Pot orders the killing of his defense chief Sun Sen and 11 of Sen's family members before Pol Pot leaves his northern stronghold.
Yeah, Pol Pot, like, disgusting person. I don't know, like, really.
I have no idea who this person is.
But I remember the name, and I know that him and the Khmer Rouge were awful things. Like, obviously right here, like, he killed his own defense chief, and 11 of said chief's family members. Like, this disgusting, diabolical person, Pol Pot. Like, actually, like, let's see here. As leader of the Khmer Rouge, Pol Pot ruled Cambodia from 75 till 79. In this short time, his totalitarian regime killed an estimated 1 to 3 million Cambodians, a quarter of the population, many in the infamous killing field. So he just mowed people down. Like 25% of the population of his entire country. Can you like that is insane. Yikes. Why don't you take this 1999 one here, and then I'll start the next millennium.
All right, 1999, Kosovo War. NATO suspends its airstrikes after Slobodan Milosevic agrees to withdraw Serbian forces from Kosovo.
Yep. All right. Moving on up to 2001, Pope John Paul II canonized Lebanon's first female saint, Saint Rafka. Cool. Pretty cool. Huh? Good old John Paul III, the second. You know, the Grandpa Pope. Everybody loves Grandpa Pope. Oh. 1 year later, 2002, the first direct electronic communication experiment between the nervous system of 2 humans was carried out by Kevin Warwick in the United Kingdom. Whoa. Technologically enhanced telepathy, essentially. Or technologically assisted telepathy. That is pretty crazy. In 2003, the Spirit rover was launched, beginning NASA's Mars exploration rover mission. Oh, yeah. Good old Spirit rovers. What do we got in 2007? This was a good show.
Yeah, you gotta mention these guys.
Yeah.
A pretty infamous ending. Love it or hate it, it is pretty infamous.
Yeah, well, this is the ending. You want to take it?
Oh, yeah, the 2007 Sopranos series finale on HBO, the infamous cut to black ending.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, exactly what you were
put
talking
people in
about.
a tirade. Oh, boy.
Yeah. And,
See, unfortunately, most people are unable to use their imaginations. And that's the point of it. Like, you imagine your own.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Yeah, that is a really, 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 the definition of a cliffhanger right there. And, we can't even get, like, any form of closure because the actor who played Tony Soprano died.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace. You got another, you're going to remember this one here, 2007.
2007 novelty dance song I'm a Gummy Bear in German band Gummy Bar released.
Yeah.
I'm a gummy bear and a gummy bear.
I personally find...
Isn't it a Barbie song remade?
Kind of.
Gummy bear song.
Kind of, sort of. Like, I'm just going to play, like, a couple seconds of this.
Look for the...
Yeah.
But this is, it is one of the more obnoxious songs I've ever had to suffer through. Like, I don't like
the Fox song.
I hate that even more. So, but let me
Gummy
just
Bear
play.
album in stores on the
Ding, ding,
music.
ding, ding, ding.
Oh, yummy, tummy, funny, lucky gummy bear. I'm a
Uh,
Yeah, isn't that obnoxious? Like, that makes me want to drill my ears out.
Not if you're 4 years old.
True that, man. We do hear, different sounds
Yeah,
as we get older, or we stop hearing
yeah.
certain sounds when we get older.
Well, I mean, that reminds me of that whole thing. Remember Lavender Town from the original Pokemon game? It had, like, it was causing seizures in Japanese kids because it was an audio frequency only hearable within a certain amount of time in the youth, and
really?
it screwed up their brain. It gave them epilepsy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like a frequency in Lavender Town, specifically just that one section of the game.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, what else do we got here? 2013.
2013 Superman film Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Henry Cavill, the most basic actor on the planet, and Amy Adams, premieres in New York City.
Yeah. Was this the one where they screwed up with his mustache or whatever, or was that the next one?
I'm not sure.
I don't
No
know.
idea.
I wasn't really fans of the Batman films he was in, to be honest. I like his other work much better.
Yeah, I don't really know actors that well and all that stuff. Like, I don't really care. They're just people on the screen playing a bit. I don't deitize them like most people, in our nation and across the world. But like, I'm not sure if the Loon knows this, but there was one Superman movie a recent one where they had to CGI an upper lip, and it doesn't look that good. Because he had a mustache. Now, why didn't he just shave off the mustache? Because he was under a contract obligation with a different movie thing that he had to keep his mustache for that intellectual property. So he was under contractual obligation to keep the mustache. So they just CG'd a fake skin upper lip over to cover up his mustache. Like, actually, let me.
Was that? It's probably in the last one where he came back. He was evil for 5 seconds and. The whole Justice League was fighting him. I think it was that one.
Yeah, I think so. Like right here, it's pointing it out. Like this is CGI, which I can't really tell.
Like it's stupid because okay, you know how Batman Returns, right? In the comic books, he comes back with a long fucking mullet and a beard. Why didn't they just give him a full beard?
Huh.
That would have looked much better. They just gave him a beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because after he dies, he comes back and he's got this long hair and beard and.
Well, then that would be way
really
too.
awesome.
That would be way too Jesus allegorical right there. Like he's literally rising again, and he has a beard. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, moving on up to 2018, a planetary dust storm caused NASA's Opportunity rover to cease communication with Mars.
Oh yeah.
Or from Mars.
Yep.
So yeah. So we are all the way up to. There's supposed to be. I guess it was. Was this it? No, that's 2003. So we are now.
I'll be back here.
Okay. 2019, new DNA research on grapes shows one French wine, Sauvignon Blanc, has been grown for 900 years in Juria, published in Nature Plants.
Whoa.
The same strain for 900 years. That is impressive.
Yeah.
How it didn't just naturally evolve into something else, you know?
Yeah.
2019 as well, 3 men were sentenced to life imprisonment for struggle, snuggle, and murder of 8-year-old Muslim girl in Kathula, India, in high-profile case that sparked political resignations and nationwide protests.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, wow. 2020, Cameroon's conflict with English-speaking separatists rated world's most neglected conflict according to Norwegian Refugee Council. So, not speaking up enough about it, apparently. So, yeah. And here we go. 2020 as well. Statues of Confederate figures and explorers became focus of the hashtag, frickin' fascist movement here. Protests, with many removed, including of Confederate President Jefferson Davis and of Christopher Columbus in Richmond. Now, I agree, both Jefferson Davis and Christopher Columbus were horrible, horrible, disgusting people. But if we remove everything we don't like, then we don't have shining in our face examples of the mistakes we made and how we got to where we're at. We need the bad. We need to have the horrible things shoved in our faces so we know what not to do. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And my God, does the system really want us to repeat it? It's obviously intentional. And then people counter argument. Well, if they really want to see it, they can go into a library and get a book. They can go online, and search on Google. Well, how do they know what to look for if they're not being exposed to something right out of the chute? You need the stuff in your face.
No argument for me.
So, anyway, 2020 as well, Swedish prosecutors closed the case on the murder of Prime Minister Olof Palme after 34 years, saying the probable killer is dead. So it's still a cold case. So he just got off with murder of a Prime Minister. Yikes. So, we also have 2021, Emma Coronel Aispiro, wife of drug lord El Chapo, pled guilty to helping run his criminal operations and aiding his 2015 prison escape. So, yeah. And now El Chapo is over here in the U.S. in some prison, I think, in New York.
Somewhere.
And that was his biggest fear because he knew he'd be screwed. There's no way to get out of us. Mexican prisons, no problem. U.S. prisons, you're boned. Because if there's one thing our country really knows, it's how to incarcerate people. I mean, it's ironic. We call ourselves home of the free despite being we have more prison population per capita than any other nation in the entire history of the world. We are the most imprisoned population. And that's a fact. 2021, European Space Agency announced new Venus mission. The probe envisioned to study Venus's tesserae, its continent-like terrains. So that's interesting. Venus has continents, or continent-esque, geology.
Yeah.
Huh. 2021, UN says famine is affecting 350,000 people in Tigray, Ethiopia, the worst starvation calamity in the world right now, or as it's being broadcasted. So, and last but not least, 2021, Zahid Quraish confirmed as U.S.'s first Muslim federal judge for the District of New Jersey by the U.S. Senate. All right. Well, I mean, why not?
Kind of a shame that it has to be a note in history, huh?
Well, I mean,
should be irrelevant in the guy's religion.
I mean, I don't have a problem with a Muslim, being, of any authority. But the problem is that, with Muslim being a religion of governments, now we're having their beliefs come in and dictate legal decisions. I don't want to not support this, but I by their track record, just as
that's
a
not
belief.
fair. But
it is not fair.
But you can't be a judge if you don't look at the Constitution as the highest law of the land, and you put Sharia law ahead of that. Then you got
Sharia law is only a small portion of Muslim. It's not every Muslim.
Right.
But still, with how Muslim is, it is incompatible with how we have our legal system, set up. So unfortunately,
but you can't condemn this
you
individual for his religions.
You can't condemn him, but you also can't sit there and be like, oh, how did this happen? If and when he acts upon his beliefs and lets that dictate his judgment.
Well,
that's where I'm having hesitation.
So you assume he answered all the questions correctly.
Or did he?
I don't know.
Or is this just an affirmative action hire? It is 2021. I don't know.
I'm not going to read anything into
I'm not either. I'm just saying what ifs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this, that, or the other. I'm just getting with what is out there, and
it was like
its potential of being very not good.
Okay, there was a big stink back in the day when Robert F. Kennedy became the Democratic nomination to become president, and they made a big deal about him being a Catholic.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well,
why?
Well, it's okay to make a big stink about Catholicism, but it's not okay, because today they'll make a big stink still about Catholicism.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying, don't.
Yeah, don't. No matter what, don't. But keep a side eye on them because they might go rogue. You never know. People are people, no matter what. At the end of the day, people are no different than you or me. They're just as easily corruptible, easily bendable. They can be good. They can be bad. Don't judge people off of their background. Judge them by their actions, essentially. Now, especially off of their background, if it's a shaky one, then give them the old side eye, but give them a chance, at least. Anyway, that shall conclude the show. Once again, check the underbar of the description below for any links you may be interested in, including bundle limits to all things Omni Coalition. We're not just on Rumble on YouTube. We're on BitChute, Odyssey, Twitch, Twitter, Kick, Trovo, all sorts of things. Check our link tree down there. As I said, links to those, our social medias, and more in our link tree. For your dose of past events daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific time, which is 12 p.m. noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We have other shows. We have this show, The State History. We have the Omni Coalition News Show, Notable Events, Weather, and Sports on Friday. We have The Edge of Disclosure. Still working on getting that up. We have the Omni Coalition Show. Hopefully getting that up later on today at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Still working on the Omni Kitchen. Still working on INOSH. And those are the programs that we have more or less substantiated to the point of announcement. We have even other projects we're still working on behind the scenes. So anyway, yeah, for all of you and all of us, I am EO Xander.
King's Refuge.
Golden Loon.
And of course, you are you. Until you catch us later, whenever that is, wherever that is. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Jesus.
There we go, stop stream.